Hello and welcome to the Early Neutral Evaluation Provider Training on the Provider Availability and Scheduling System, also known as PASS. In this session, we will give you an overview of the resources available to providers on the Early Neutral Evaluation, Early Case Management, Minnesota Judicial Branch Public website, as well as provide a demonstration of PASS. This training is brought to you by the Court Services Division at the State Court Administration Office. The Provider Availability and Scheduling System, known as PASS, is a web application used for in-court scheduling of early neutral evaluation sessions. In this system, providers have the availability to apply to multiple programs in the state at one time, establish and maintain availability, and access session details in a centralized location. In addition, appointment orders from the court will now include the session information and provider appointments generated in PASS. In today's session, we will give you an overview of how to apply to programs from our public website and demonstrate how to create your profile, apply to programs, add and modify availability, view scheduled sessions, and search for other providers' schedules and program rosters. This session is focused specifically on how to use the system, not on local initial case management conferences or early neutral evaluation processes. If you are already on one or more roster, you will need to apply to each one of them again using this program. Your applications will be automatically approved. If you are applying to a new roster, and you will need to apply to them using this program and submit a supplemental application, which is available on our public website. You'll have the option to apply to every county in the state when using PASS, but you will need to verify their application process on the public website to ensure your application is received. Next, we are going to go to the Minnesota Judicial Branch public website and walk you through the different sections and where you can receive additional information about the ECMC and ENE program. Then we will create a MyCourtMin account and show you how to create one and explain how to use the PASS system with your MyCourtMin account on the public website. To get to PASS and other early case management and early neutral evaluation resources, you can open up a browser and type in the address www.mincourts.gov/ and then go ahead and click enter. Once there, you're welcome to bookmark this public website to your browser, or you can always just go to the public website by typing in that URL address. Once you are there, you can go to this help topics in the upper left corner, scroll down to the early neutral evaluation, early case management section. This is where you're going to find those additional resources for ECM and ENE program. In the first tab, you have this ECM overview. It talks about what does early case management work, early case management information, initial case management conference, and the early neutral evaluation, along with some judicial council policies regarding ECM and ENE. In the FAQ session, there are questions that we have received from providers using this program. So if you do have a question, I would check the FAQs first and then just expand this little arrow to see the answer to the question in the dropdown. So here we have the county information. This county information tab is where you'll find the fee scale for each county. Make sure you review these before you apply to a program and pass. It also has the county specific data sheets if you need to send copies to clients. Thirdly, it will have any special orders, timelines, or other documents specific to that county's program, which are for all public to view and be aware of. So if you go to this drop-down menu here and you choose a county and click go, this is where you're going to see Goodhue information and the Goodhue resources. Here's the E&E fees, here's the ICMC E&E program description, and additional information. So make sure that you're always reviewing this before you work with a county. If I click on the provider training tab, we assume that you've already taken the initial E&E provider training or are scheduled to if you are in today's training or watching this video. However, this E&E provider training tab is where you will find postings on advanced E&E trainings as they are scheduled and where you can find the master training list. This list is where you can look up when you took the training, your initial E&E provider training, because you will need to enter that information in your past profile. So if you cannot remember that information, it will be in this master training list. Just remember that that master list is historical document, except for the name changes. We don't update the information on it. So if you have moved or changed titles since you took the training, that information will not be updated on the list. We will now go to the provider information tab. Once you are on a roster, you will want to check the current providers tab in the general state area at the top. You will find a checklist to help with your E&E processes, the required E&E providers reports, and other resources. The Prospects Providers tab will help you with county-specific information on a roster requirement and application processes. The drop-down menu at the bottom will help you find the information on the requirements and whether there are any separate local processes of documents required for a program. Please review these before applying to the rosters in PASS. In addition, you will also find ride-along certificates to use if you still have not completed your ride-alongs, and tips for completing your application in PASS and how to find the information requested in the profile section in PASS. When you click on the provider availability and scheduling system, you're going to see this provider availability and scheduling system button. This is to the actual PASS system. If you click on it, it's going to open up and bring you out to the PASS system. And we'll go into more of that in just a few minutes. I'm going to go over to the provider tab, and I'm going to click on the provider availability and pass. So remember that in pass, we recommend that you apply to every county whose roster you are already on and any rosters in what you're interested in getting into. Look at their requirements in the drop-down menus first. If a program has no local sponsored E&E program and is not likely to start a program, you can still get on the roster for those counties through the Equal Access E&E program. Information on that program, the criteria to be on that roster through that program, and the fee scales are all right there, right here, just above the drop-down. So the early neutral evaluation program does not require that you submit a supplemental application that you agree to the sliding fee schedule and that you agree you will travel without charging for travel to the counties whose early neutral evaluation rosters you are on. Parties will not have gone through the ICMC and there's no in-court scheduling, so the parties will have to contact you directly to schedule. You will also receive a court order appointing you in an EA, early neutral evaluation case, unless the parties submit a stipulated order to the court and a judge signs it. When applying in pass to these programs or these cases, you will be selecting a different service type from the regular E&E program. And we're going to show you how to take a look at that in just a little while in our live demonstration. So again, if you go to this provider availability section and you click on this brown button, it's available right there from the Minnesota Judicial Branch website. If I go back to the Minnesota Judicial Branch website and I click on provider information, and then I go under the provider availability and scheduling system, you're also going to see some quick reference guides. The live demonstration that I'm going to show you today will be following these quick reference guides. So I don't expect you to remember everything I show you today. You can always refer back to one of these quick reference guides on how to do what I show you during our demonstration today. There's also 2 FAQs listed here, one for expired ADR qualifications or professional license, and one for provider availability and scheduling system. Here we have the past technical support for E&E providers, so please make sure if you get an error on your computer and need some technical support, you submit a ticket through this link. There's some information to complete your profile and note on expected response times. And then last, there's that supplemental application that you may have to fill out. And if you click on this Word version or the PDF version, it's going to open up. And you will see that supplemental application. And if you scroll to the very last page, after you fill this information out, then you can email it to this email address. So next, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the provider availability and scheduling system. So this is where you'll be brought when you click on that link from the Minnesota Judicial Branch website. However, you can bookmark this site too in order for you to have this site available instead of having to click through all the different pages on the Minnesota Judicial Branch website. So the first thing we're going to do is look up and search for provider availability. And what you would do is In this drop-down menu, choose your county and service type. You can use the filters to narrow the list of sessions. I chose morning, afternoon, evening. I chose Monday through Thursday. I chose providers book sessions. And then what you can do is just go ahead and choose that you want to use the second box too for available sessions lookup, and then click go. And it will look up those provider schedules for you. You do not need to be logged in to look up provider schedules or to look up provider rosters. You can just go to that public website and look that information up. I'm going to go ahead and click on providers only. And then I'm going to go over here and click roster. These are the 3 sections here. Okay, in the roster lookup, you're going to select the county or services. And again, choose your criteria. And then you can go ahead and click go. Once the list displays, you're going to see the provider name, the offices. If it's a Zoom, that means that they have a Zoom account and they can host Zoom remote sessions. Contact information, if they're an attorney, because we chose attorney there, will travel, will work on DV cases, office availability, DV case, language, service trained, educational degree, and professional license. One thing I just want to point out here, you're going to see this first name listed has an F behind it. And then you're going to see down here, John has an M behind it. When you first apply to the first time to SEN programs, you will be asked to provide whether you want to work on a male or choose to show that male or female in this list. If you choose not to put that in there, then that means that that you don't choose to put that in there, but you will be asked to, if you want to display that information or not on this roster. And you'll have to agree to it, but that's only the first time you apply for it. Then after you apply to more SEN programs, it won't ask you that again. And then you can also reset that if you want to in the future. And how you would do that is I'm going to show you how you can reset that information in the future in just a little bit. I just wanted you to be aware of that. And that's only on the very first time that you apply for one SENE. And then after that, it'll just apply that male or female tag on the roster and for all of your future applications. So now that we've shown you how to look up provider schedules and view the rosters, we will now show you how to create a MyCourtMin user account. So if you click on this provider login in the upper right corner, you're going to see where it says create an account. So if I click create an account, what it's going to do is it's going to open up and it's going to ask for your information. So you'll put in your first name here. Last name. You can enter your email address here, however, it will not pull over to your account. So if you want to skip that this time, you can, and then you'll just update you want to enter in your email address. So enter your email address. It's very important that you enter this email address. I was referring to the street address. I was jumping ahead of myself here so I apologize. But you'll want to enter in your email address because you'll be sent important alerts through this email address. The street address you can update once you first log in on your profile page, so you can put it in here if you want to, but you still will have to add it on your profile page. So if you want to skip this information here, you can. You'll want to go in and enter your security question and answers. Then you'll go ahead and put in your password. Make sure it's a strong password and you use numeric characters, use numbers and other characters inside the password. You'll get a green check mark and you'll see the strength also in there. Then you'll have to check the box next to I have read and understood the terms of service, and you would click the terms of service. You have to open it up. I would recommend reading through the terms of service. And then once you are done with that, you close the window and then click save. Once you click save, you're going to receive an email to activate your account. And then what you will do is activate your account, clicking that link, and then you will go back to that public website and click on the PASS program and log in. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel because we are on the production site and I don't want to create another fake account. So I'm going to go ahead and click cancel, and it's probably going to bring me back to this program. And what you can do is once you've activated your account, you can click on provider login, enter your email address here, along with the password that you set up, and you will be logged into your PASS program. Next, we're going to show you all the different features and functionality on the providers only section in the PASS system. For providers only, you will set up your account, you'll apply to programs, and then you'll add your availability to your profile. And then over on the right, that's where you can reset your service gender if you need to. You just send an email to that PASS program. So over here on the left, we're going to click on View and Maintain Provider Profile. The first thing you'll need to do is go through and read your acknowledgement form and then click I agree. Once there, you're going to see the provider profile. Each section, to expand and add information, you just click on that section and you can click edit to edit any information on the personal information, which includes your first name, last name, your middle name. You can check the boxes next to, we'll work on cases involving domestic violence if you will be doing that, or check the box next to for non-SEN services, I'm willing to travel. Once you have made any updates to that personal information, you just go ahead and click save. It'll tell you that your personal information has been updated, and then you click OK. and then you click on personal information to close that section. So after you created a MyCourtMin account, some of the information moves to the provider profile in the provider availability scheduling system application. And so just some of it will be there, but I will recommend that you go through the whole profile, every section, to make sure it's accurate information. Next, I will click on the addresses. Now, if your address is not there, which if you're new to the account will not be there, you would just click on this add an address in the bottom left kind of corner. It's a green, and you click add address. Once you do that, it will open up a blank page, and then you can put your address information in. You can choose the address type. You can just make sure you keep not primary address unchecked, because that's the way the program works or the system works, where this is going to be your primary address. So you just leave that unchecked. If you're available to host sessions, check that box. Available for domestic violence, check that box. Can receive court mailed orders on correspondence, check that box, and then make sure your address is marked as active. Once that information is updated or added, just click save, and it will save that information for you. And then you just click address again. If you have to add another address, you can add another address. And I believe this is where you would also add a Zoom address. If you wanted to host any remote hearing sessions, you can add it into your address. Just make sure you put Zoom address in there, and then that'll show up on your roster profile page. And it'll also show up in the court system, so they can choose whether the session will be Zoom or if it will be, an in-person session. You can always change that. But if it is a Zoom session and you are responsible for hosting that through Zoom, you will need to make sure that all the parties and providers get that Zoom email invite before the session. Same thing, you go into your email address, you can edit your email address, or you can add an additional email address. Make sure you have it marked as active. Send notification emails. Make sure you mark those if you want to receive those. And the reason is because if you don't change that in your profile, then they will not send them to you. And then you can click on phone numbers and add any phone numbers or edit this information and click save. But you always have to click, if you have phone numbers and your information in there already, to make changes to it, you always have to click edit and then save. But to add new phone numbers, you click add a phone number down there. You have your education and degree that you want to put in there. You have your degree type, date, degree that you earned it, the school name, what was your subject matter experts. If you have another degree to put in there, you just click your add an additional education degree, and then you choose it in the drop down. If you don't find your degree in here, you can do what I did on my previous degree, and you can say Bachelor of Science, and then you can put what subject matter you were that was included in your degree. Professional license, here is your license type. You want to put your month and year it was issued, who it was granted by, and you want to fill this information before you apply to programs, because they'll need this information. And just make sure you're updating it all. Once you updated it all, then you just click save. If you edited it, or if it's a new one, you just click save and your license will be added. This is where we talked about earlier about the training, that master training list out on the public Minnesota Judicial Branch E&E page. You'll want to go take a look at that if you don't remember when you took the training, because it will be listed on that page. If you have any questions, of course, you can always send a question into that, that public website contact information page. languages other than English. If you would like that information to show up on your profile, you can enter it here. I chose German because my in-laws are very German and they speak German sometimes. So I chose German as an example in this language, but it does have other options. ADR qualifications, right here, I'm going to click edit because that's not going to be in there for you. You might want to click add ADR qualifications here. And up at the top, if you're a mediator and evaluator, you choose the top selection. If you're only a mediator, you choose the mediator. And if you're only an evaluator, you choose the evaluator. Don't choose mediator separate from evaluator. If you're both, choose the top one in the dropdown. You'll want to put your ADR neutral ID number and then click save, and it will update your qualifications. Once there, then you can just click close, and now your profile has been updated. Again, please remember, if you have any questions, to check that ADR on the public website. So if I go to the public website here under help topics, and I go down to early neutral evaluation, and then I go over here on the right and click provider information and click provider availability, you're going to see this FAQ, expired ADR qualification or professional license. And just review that FAQ because it may give you a lot more information and it may already have an answer to any questions you have about the ADR. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to apply to a program. If I click apply to a program, the first thing you'll want to do is select a service. So I'll just say financial early neutral evaluation, or you can select a social early neutral evaluation. I'll go ahead and choose social for here. You can also click here and it's going to show you the map. Of counties. Then you can also filter by a district if you'd like to, or filter by a county. I'm just going to go ahead and choose Carver for right now because it's at the top of my list. And you want to apply to one program at a time, and then just click continue with the application. So this is where you're going to see your acknowledgement and agreement, where you have to go through and read and then submit it. And please remember that if this is the first time that you're applying to an SENE program, it is going to ask you if you are okay with listing yourself as male or female on the roster list. And then go ahead and click submit. And it's going to say successfully applied to a program or service, and then you click OK. And remember that you do have to apply, if you're new to PASS, you do have to apply to every program that you're already on, not in PASS, because then you'll be accepted right away, and then any new programs that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and click on providers only. It's going to bring me back to my roster membership, and I'm going to click on view status, withdraw or resubmit. So if you look in this drop down, you're going to see these are all my programs. And I don't know if I said this at the very beginning, I am actually on a training site. So everything in here is fake information. It's not real information. I always want to make sure that everyone knows that as we're going in here. This is my fake provider profile. That's my disclaimer. Nothing is real. So I'm just going to go in down to Carver County. And I'm going to click view application history. It's going to show me the history when I applied for that program. If I go back and you go back down to Carver, you can withdraw depending on where your application is at. You can withdraw if your application was denied, you can reapply. Whatever you want to do at this time, you can do it through this reapplying to a program and view application status. So one thing that you can do is in a couple weeks, if you go in there and you're not seeing that your program has been accepted, then you'll want to contact the PASS group, and you can either, I believe you can either do it through this email address or, from the public website. Back over here under contact, and right here, if you click on it, it will create an email, and you can fill out this contact information form, letting them know, hey, I'm checking on my status. Otherwise, it should show once it's accepted. If you click on view, it should show your status withdraw, pending approval, and ones that are approved. And then once you have a program approved, that's when you will go in and you will add your availability. So if I click add new availability, you have to read through the acknowledgement form, click I accept. And remember that acceptance to the program must occur before entering your availability. Providers will not appear on rosters or in search results until that availability has been added to. So once you're approved, you go in and you add your availability, you enter availability date range, start date, and then the end date. You always want to go out. I always suggest going out at least 60 days. And the reason is you want to show up on those rosters at least for 60 to 90 days. Did I say 60 or 90 days? Because it's going to be up to you to keep your not your roster, sorry, I said that wrong, but you want to make sure to enter your availability date range and make it go out 60 to 90 days. And you will need to, every 60 or 90 days, you will need to go in and update this roster. So if I put 60 days in 30 days, I'm going to go in and update another 60 days in my roster. If I put 90 days out, I schedule 90 days of my availability out, I'm going to go in there in 60 days and I'm going to update and put out another 90 days out on my schedule. And the reason is if you don't do that, the courts will not see your availability in your system, in their system, and your name will start dropping off and you won't be able to get any sessions. So you need to keep this up to date. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and I'm going to select my program. So let's just choose, I'm just going to choose Ramsey SENE. I'm going to say I'm going to be available Monday, morning, afternoon, and evening, daily, weekly, or monthly. And we'll say weekdays, Monday through Friday. And then I'm going to click down here. I'm going to say, show my results, and it's going to show you the results here. And then once you go in there, then you click add availability, and it's going to say it's available. How do I, you can always edit the available definition if you need to, or cancel and close. But right now I've added it. If I go back here, and I'm going to do that for each program. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to click on add a new availability, click I accept. I'm going to choose a different program. First, I'm going to put a date in here. I'm going to choose a different program. Let's do rice. And then once I choose that program, I'm going to say morning, afternoon, weekly, and then you can choose the days in this example. And then you click add availability. And click OK. I'm going to click on for providers only. If you need to modify existing availability, what you will do is go into modify, and then over on the right across from that availability, you'll click modify, and you can change maybe you want to add a Wednesday in here. and then you click update, and it updates that availability. For some reason, it gave me a little error there, but I'm not quite sure why, but it did. I'm just gonna just chalk it up as it did modify it, and then I'm gonna click back on providers. And then if you want to view scheduled and add or remove exceptions, what that means is, let's say I was scheduled on Thursday, November 4th, and I just found out, oh my, I have a morning doctor's appointment, and I click on edit exceptions, and I choose available, select it, and now it's going to show that I'm not available during that session. And the reason it says available, now it says not available, is because, you know, you already chose yourself as being available. So now you have to choose available in order to reverse that and say not available. All right. And like I said, if you want to reset your service gender, you just send that email here. So I'm going to go to the public website one last time, kind of walk you through where to find everything. So if I click on help topics and I scroll down to early neutral evaluation, and here are all my ECMC overview, FAQs, that county information, that's really important. So make sure you take a look at that information. Provider training, master provider list, initial E&E training. They go into providers availability. If I go under prospect providers, it has all the information for your county specific and what you would choose in the drop-down menu, click go, and then it'll give you all of the information for that county specific program. If I click on provider availability, it brings me to the provider availability scheduling system. This is to the live site. If I scroll down here, here are all my resources and everything that we taught you during this training. Please feel free to open these up and follow along with the quick reference guide. When you're first working with PASS, it will allow you an easier flow with the system. Up in the top, if you click on contacts, you're going to see for general questions about ECM and E&E, you want to click here, and it's going to open up that technical form, and you want to make sure you fill it out. So thank you all for joining me during today's session. I hope you learned something new today, and we look forward to working with you through the PASS program.